All right, everyone. Welcome back to Perks Pod Podcast. Thank you so much for those that have been keeping up with me in my new podcast journey, my new setup and everything. Thank you for all of the feedback, comments, and everything that I've been getting, mostly in person. Please like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it helps me out. So please do that. Those looking on my TikTok live, I'm doing this for my podcast on my YouTube, on Perks Corner. Please go follow, like and subscribe, please. It doesn't cost you anything, maybe but a couple minutes. All right. So without fluffing this intro up too much, I'm going to go ahead and go straight into it. So today I was going to do a little something about talking about relationships between men and women, but I decided to turn it into a little something different. So I am going to title this How to Please Your Man Masterclass. And now, everything that I say is not going to be 100% for every man in the world. Everything that I'm going to say is not going to be 100% true for any guy that listens to this. I am mostly speaking for the straight male demographic, because that's who I am, and that is what I'll be kind of giving notes on, because I'm just going to say it. Not every man is straight, of course. There are gay men, bisexual men, all the likes, what have you. And they have different needs from simple straight men. And I'm going to be talking about how a woman can please her man, her straight man. So that's just what I'm going for. I even wrote down notes because I am going to stick to the script. I'm not giving any type of how long I think the podcast is going to be, because obviously I can't stick to time quotas. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make any promises of how long this is going to be, how long or short, but I am going to be going through my little composition notebook and going through all of the things that, in my experience and in my days of talking with other men and seeing what they need and what they want from their woman, I'm going to give you basically a very, very simple, guideline to, how to please your man. All right, we're going to get into it. So, there is only one thing a man needs from a woman. There's only one thing that a man absolutely needs for a woman in order to survive in a relationship, and it is peace. It is peace. It's one word. It's one thing. Now, yes, there's going to be subcategories. I'm going to go into that. However, peace is the number one. Actually, peace is the only thing that a woman can provide that we cannot get for ourselves. Most of the time. But if we're talking anybody who wants a loving relationships, who wants a family, who wants to grow and to build and to grow old with someone, the number one thing that a man wants from their woman is peace. Now, there are 3 different types of peace, and I'm going to be breaking down each one. So the first one I'm going to go through is emotional peace. So I'll list the 3 ones right now: emotional, physical, and worldly peace. I'm going to go and break these down. So we're going to start with emotional peace. Emotional peace is pretty self-explanatory. It's having a peace of mind when it comes to dealing with their own and their significant other's emotions. One thing that I know that I've experienced a lot in relationships is feelings cannot be controlled. So that's why they're called feelings. If feelings could be controlled with your conscience 100%, there will be no need for discussions like this. So many people would not be hurt. People would not be leading themselves into things that they know are not good for them. Feelings cannot be controlled, and they cannot be helped. However, they can be managed. They can be vocalized. There are so many avenues to take when it comes to expressing your feelings and making sure that the other person is either not intimidated, not overwhelmed, or both when you come to your man about your feelings and when your man opens up about his feelings. So men need to have a vulnerable space to deal with these emotions and to let those emotions out, because yes, as men, we are not taught to let those emotions out or to express them, especially in high volume. I can honestly say that as a man, I was never told not to show emotion, but it wasn't something that was ingrained in me on how to express myself or how to let people know that I'm having a bad day. That wasn't something that was, like taught to me. I had to kind of figure that out on my own through trial and error. And the thing is, a lot of people don't understand that, or I say a lot of women don't understand that there's a lot of pressure that comes from being a man, just like there's a lot of pressure that comes from being a woman, but they're two different pressures and they come from basically two different worlds. So a lot of times it may not seem like we understand the pressure that you go through, but at the same time, in my own experience, it does not seem like many women understand the pressure that men go through. So men have, like I said, a very big reputation on not letting emotions out, and this reputation as well. A vulnerable space is so crucial for a man to properly have that space and to open up and to not feel judged, not feel ridiculed. Because I'll say this, I've been through a relationship where at first it felt like I had that vulnerable space to come through, come out about my emotions and to let it all out and to put it all on the table and let my significant other know how I feel. And I was under the impression that I could be vulnerable at any time and speak to her about anything. But then it got to a point where my significant other actually complained about me expressing my feelings. And the crazy thing is, I don't want anyone to think that I was like, sitting here crying and yelling and, being obnoxious. But if you come to me and you tell me something that you don't like about what I'm doing or how I am or whatever, just understand that I might not like it. I might not like you revealing that to me. No, I'll rephrase that. I like that you revealed it to me. I might not like hearing the fact that I'm making you uncomfortable or that you don't like something that I'm doing. I don't like to hear that, because that means that I am doing something that you don't like and putting you in an uncomfortable position. I don't want that. And my thing is, if you can come to me about how you're feeling, I should have a right to feel a certain type of way about the fact that that's happening. And believe me, it doesn't have anything to do with me being upset that you're telling me. It has something to do with me being upset that I am upsetting you. So, and especially if it's something along the lines of something that I've been working hard at trying to do, whether it's materialistic like finances, or whether it's not, with how I deal with certain situations or how I talk or how I say certain things. If it's something that I've been continuously working on, yeah, I'll kind of be, a little upset at first, because it's like, dang, I'm working on it, but I'm still not making the progress I should. And do not confuse that for me getting mad or getting upset that you told me versus getting upset that it's still an issue that I have to work out with myself, because I should be able to get a little, I wouldn't say disappointed, but I can be a little hard on myself sometimes. So some of those emotions, actually most of those emotions in those type of situations, are not towards you, they're towards myself. And in my past relationship, it got to a point where my ex would complain that I would feel some type of way. And it's like, that's not fair, because I can't help that I feel that way. But at the same time, I never put myself in a position to make you fear. I never put myself in a position to make you think that, to make you feel like I'm trying to guilt you, to make you feel like I'm just like, woe is me, playing the victim card. No, it sucks. My feelings are hurt, but I understand what you're saying, and I'm gonna get through this. But it got to a point where my ex was like, no, I hate telling you things because you get in your feelings about it and you feel some type of way. And I was like, yeah, I should. I should. I'm a human being. I feel things. And as long as I'm not taking it out in a toxic way, I think I should have every right to feel how I feel when you tell me something. So, that vulnerable space, never give a man a vulnerable space and then treat him like he can't be vulnerable, because then that'll make him shut off. And that's what I did. I shut off. I stopped expressing my emotions, and it's like she got mad that I wasn't expressing my emotions, and it becomes a lose-lose situation for the guy, and that is beyond frustrating. Beyond frustrating. One other thing about emotional peace is ultimatums. Women give a lot of ultimatums. And not saying that men don't, but women, you give a lot of ultimatums. Either this or that. Either me or this. Either that or that. And I'm not going to lie to you. At this point in my life, if you give me an ultimatum, especially if we just started dating or not even dating at all, as soon as you give me a ultimatum that is not completely reasonable, I'm cutting you off. Like, it's just that simple. Like, if I were to, continue on my workout every day or whatever, and I'm spending 2 to 3 hours in the gym every day, and you're like, yo, you got to sacrifice some time in the gym for me. Otherwise, I feel like you're not giving me enough time or attention or whatever. I know it's not realistic, but actually, you know what? Sad thing is, I'm pretty sure that conversation has been had before, but at least for me, not realistic. But let's just say this hypothetical situation happened, and she was like, you got to start cutting some hours from the gym because you're not giving me any time. If you tell me that, I'm cutting you off immediately. Because first of all, the gym, it has recently become my space. I've started to go to the gym a lot to work out, to get into healthier shape. I've already started to see the results, and I'm in love with it, and I'm not going back. Second off, why don't you come with me to the gym? Why does it have to be, take hours away and spend time with me, or, get rid of you? What's the topic right now? Basically, it's on my live. I am holding a masterclass on how to please your man for women. And right now, I already answered that the one word that every man needs from their woman is peace. And there's 3 different types of peace: emotional, physical, and worldly. And I'm breaking down emotional peace right now. Talked about feelings, being able to deal with your man's feelings and make them feel like they're in a safe space, the vulnerable space. Right now I'm talking about ultimatums and how women like to give ultimatums, and that is not a very good idea at all. And then also optimism. I am a very optimistic person. If you are constantly pessimistic and you just chalk that up to that's just how you are, actually, you know what? I can't even see if it happens with 2 pessimistic people. If you are pessimistic about most things and you're just like, oh, that's just how the world works, blah, 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 get away from me. And most men will tell you to get away from them, even if they're pessimistic. That is not good for mental health for one or both parties to be pessimistic. Because as much BS that goes on in this world, as much craziness that runs, we don't have time to be Debbie Downers. The more time you're a Debbie Downer, the more time you get depressed. Debbie Downer depressed. That's stay away from the D. On a serious note, please find the silver lining in things. And I know it's much easier said than done, but work on it, or at least lie to yourself until you start to believe it. Because, you start coming to my way talking about, oh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Everything's looking bleak, bland. Everything's, falling apart. And you're right. It may not be the best moment in our lives, in my life, your life, our lives. And it might not be the best moment in our relationship. But the more you speak that pessimism, the more it becomes a reality to you, because everything is a chain reaction. Thoughts become words, words become action, action becomes reality. So the more you start speaking that, it's gonna happen. Like my first girlfriend, my high school ex, I moved down to Georgia from Virginia after high school, and we were gonna do long distance. Every time I had a phone call with her or a video chat, the first thing that always came out her mouth was, I hate this. I hate the distance. I feel if it sucks that we have to do this. And that came out every time the phone was answered. And it got to a point where literally 3 weeks before she broke up with me, I was like, yo, ma, I think she's going to break up with me. Next thing you know, about 2.5, 3 weeks later, she called me and was like, can't do it. And I was like, and the funny thing is, I wasn't overly hurt because of the fact that I saw it coming. You know, that pessimism. And you know what? I don't want to call it that because I don't want to make it seem like she was just, being a Debbie Downer because that's how she was. Because she wasn't like that. She was a very optimistic person. That just wasn't for her. But it's just an example of how, speaking those things are going to continue to impact your mentality and how you move about things. And last thing for emotional peace, watch how you talk. Everyone should watch how they talk to their significant other. And I'm going to just put this disclaimer out right now, and I won't say it again unless someone comes on live and starts asking me questions. But I'm just speaking on behalf of what women could do for men. Yes, there's many things that apply to men as well, and many things that men can do for women. However, this is the topic. So every time I say something, I'll no longer say, oh, it could be for men too. That is the topic of discussion, and I'm going to leave it at that. So, women, watch how you talk to your man. I saw this one video of this marriage counselor, and it was beautiful. The wife was there, and the guy was there, and the guy had kids that wasn't by his wife. She's, stepmom, and they have their own kids as well. And, no, sorry, reverse. The mom, oh no, I got it right. The dad had children that wasn't with the wife, and she said that like she was talking to him and was like, that your sons could do better, blah blah blah, and you don't get on them like I think you should, and you're just letting them run wild, blah blah blah. And then the marriage counselor was like, all right, hold on, lady, don't talk to him like that. This is how you talk to him. And then she was like rubbing his back while saying, I know that you can do so much more. And I know that what you're doing right now cannot necessarily lead to them being the men that I know they can be. And the tone, the word choice, everything switch up different. And it gave me goosebumps when I watched it, because no one ever spoke to me like that. None of my girlfriends ever like hit me with and it's kind of, no, it's not weird. It's almost like that motherly tone, that motherly nurturing tone, the soft words, but still has that real to it, because it's just telling him, hey, I know that you got a lot going on, and I know that there's this, and I know that you could be giving them a little bit more to make them become the boys that you want them to be. And that's so much better than saying your kids are running wild. You need to do something about it because this is ridiculous. You can't keep doing this. You see how that tone, it's the same message, but the tone is so much different. And I guarantee you, if you come to a man with that kind of tone instead of the nagging tone, you'll get so much work done, because what women don't understand, men lead the household and the woman guides the man. So if you want to be honest, women, you have almost all of the power in how your household is run, whether you like it or not. It looks like the man is doing all the providing, the protecting, the leading, but you're our support system. You're the ones who correct us when we're not thinking straight or when we're at a loss. And, if you learn how to speak to your man and you learn how to guide your man, technically you're the one leading the household in your own way. It's just that we're the forefront. We take the brunt of it, and we take the horse by the reins. but you're the one that decides where the carriage goes. So that's basically the gist of what I want to get with emotional peace. This next one is going to be a little quicker. Physical peace. Physical peace. Very simple things. In this new generation, and sadly, I don't like want to get racial or stereotypical, but I'm gonna get racial and stereotypical. I noticed this a lot more with black women. Do not get violent with your man. Do not get violent with your man. I have been hit by one girlfriend in my life, and it would I lied. I've been hit by two girlfriends, but like seriously, like out for blood hit. I've been hit by one girlfriend, and it was the only black one I've had. And then also when I hear stories and when I talk to multiple women about the things they've done, about the things they say, I'm not gonna lie. I love you, black women. You're so beautiful, and I love you to death. But you tend to be a lot more aggressive, physically aggressive and verbally aggressive. But I'm talking about physical aggression. Do not get violent with your man because it is not fair. It really isn't. And I have been the official victim of a domestic violence dispute. I am the actual victim, like police report and everything. I had every right to deck the halls with my ex's face. At that time, I have no more, of course, resentment or no more anger towards her. I actually hope that she's doing well. But at the time, at that particular time, I wanted to, and I had the right to really yeah, but I didn't do that because that's how I was raised. Now, of course, if she posed a threat to my family members, that's a different story, but I just let the hits happen, blah, 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 whatever. I'm a man who, unless my life is threatened or unless someone I love is threatened, I would never really put my hands on a woman. I never put my hands on a woman. However, I don't judge men who don't have that restriction, that if you put your hands on me, I will retaliate. Like, I don't believe putting your hands on a woman, initiating that at all whatsoever. But if she full out and tries, especially if she's a bigger woman, not big like big, but like if she's a taller, stronger woman, because my ex wasn't no petite, small little thing. She was almost my height, and she did have some strength to her. So when you start trying to duke it out like a dude, and a dude starts swinging back, I'm sorry, you get what you deserve. You get what you deserve. Do not get violent, physical, because a lot of women think they can just get away with that shit. And they think that they can do it, especially when it's with a man who they know is not going to hit them back. And other than the night that we broke up and everything went to crap, my ex has put her hands on me before, but because of who I am, I recognize what happened, and I literally removed myself from the area, just the energy, the vibe. And somehow it ended up being my fault that I didn't come and make up. And just to break it down, we were not even play fighting. We were just playing around, and she was laughing, saying stop while laughing. And, she actually drew blood on purpose. And she was like, "You were hurting me." And I said, "That wasn't your hurting me vibes. Your hurting me vibes is you stop laughing, you look at me in my eyes, say, 'Jelani, stop it, that hurts.'" Boom. It would have been end of discussion. But she drew blood on purpose. And when she drew blood on purpose, I looked at it and I said, "Bet." And I basically kept playing and ended up pushing her off the bed. And she swung at me. She missed, but she swung at me, for real, for real. And back then, I wish I had my mentality now back then, because that was I should have been "Yo, you need to chill out. You need to cut that out," because that was not cool. Do not get physically violent with your man. Another thing about physical peace, allow men to be physical. And when I say this, I say this based off of my experience. When I was actually with, the girlfriends, I think I've only had 3 girlfriends. So three relationships is not a lot. It's not a lot of experience to go off of, but it's my experience. And I would say 2 out of the 3 girlfriends, um, they didn't get physical with me, like physical activities and hobbies and getting physical, the whole working out thing. Like no one except for probably my first ex would work out with me, would dance with me, would do things with me. And when I moved in with my most recent ex, I wasn't able to do a lot physically within the house because everything was, pristine and put where it needed to be. And it was like a showcase house, and I wasn't able to do what I grew up doing. I mean, I moved the furniture around just to have Nerf battles with my dad. And, with my mom, we didn't do that much in her household, but I could still like be physical, run around, have fun, stuff like that. And I've noticed a lot of women, they kind of don't like that. They don't like a man being physical within their own space. And know this, ladies, we're going to annoy you. We're men. We're physical. We're hyper. Especially if we're with the right person. If we're with the right person and they give the right energy, we're going to be physical and hyper with you. Embrace that. Embrace that, because him being physical and fun and all over the place in your space shows that he's comfortable with you. It shows that he loves you, and it shows that you give him a space where he wants to be himself. And to basically call a man childish or to destroy that for him is taking one of his comforts away. And it's making him feel like he's in a space where he can't be himself. And now he feels like more of a child than a significant other. Once again, I'm definitely speaking from experience. Another physical piece, sex. I'm not going to get too into sex because there's a lot that I could cover. Sex life is very important. Unless 2 asexual people get together, sex life is very, very important. Is it the most important thing? No. But sexual compatibility is something that I think people need to have for a long-lasting relationship. Yeah, you're not going to, and I hate this thing, you're not going to, be all about that when you get older. You're not going to want to have sex every day, all day, like you did when you were in 20s, and now you're in your 70s and you don't care about that. You don't care about looks. You're right. However, if you get with a woman when you're 20 years old, say you marry a woman when you're 20, you've been here with her for 4 years, y'all were high school sweethearts, and you guys grow old and you both die at the age of 80. I'm pretty sure once you get to, I would say, the 50s, once you get to the 50s, and if you're healthy and if you're, into that, once you start getting to your 60s, that's when your, sex drive completely starts to die down. That to me, once you start getting into your 50s, especially like your mid to late 50s, that's when my whole mentality of you got to look banging, have that banging body and be in shape and perfect on the outside. That's when that mentality starts to go away. It doesn't matter anymore. Look at that though. That's at least 30 years. If it starts when you're 50, you go to your 80. But that first 30 plus years, over half of your relationship, you're going to want to be physically attracted to your partner. You're going to want to have fun with your partner. You're going to want everything that you guys go through in the bedroom. You want it to be fun. You want to enjoy it, and you want it to be fulfilling. And yes, once you get older, that's not going to matter as much anymore. However, we're talking about the first half of your life together. The whole first half. Yeah, the last 30 is going to be all about holding hands, sitting on a rocking chair, thinking about how close your souls are. But let's be honest. You can have that mentality when you're younger, but you're going to want to F the crap out of her. Like you're gonna want your man to think you are desirable on every level, even after you get to that phase. Come on now, what woman wouldn't want their husband to turn to them and be like, "You're the finest piece of meat I've ever seen," and y'all 65 pruning in the sun? Like that, I want to do that. Like I want to experience that, and I also want to experience being sexually compatible with someone. I want my hump years. Y'all heard of hump day? I want my hump years to be full of fulfillment. That's what I want it to be. And most men want that. I would argue that all men want that, as long as not the asexual men. I'm talking about anyone that has any type of sex drive whatsoever. They want to be fulfilled. Even if the sex drive is small, get with a compatible person who also has a similarly small sex drive. Boom. Simple. Find your match with both, the whole path in life, mental, spiritual, and sexual. That is a very important component. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the worldly piece, the last piece, and then I'll peace out. Worldly piece is kind of more so on the materialistic side. So we talked about emotions and we talked about physical interactions. I'm going to talk about the real world interactions. Things like money, things like dealing with children, things like just material stuff. Finances are already a big stress on a man without a woman in his life. It's one of the things that we're taught when we're young. Grow up, get an education, get a job, work, make money, take care of your family. There's so much pressure on a man when it comes to building that foundation for his family to thrive, especially nowadays, because this generation, my generation, we've entered a very tough time with, the recession, with inflation, with the fact that our degrees don't mean as much as they did 30, 40 years ago, because people could go into college, get a degree in the 70s and 80s, and immediately bag a job that would secure them. 40 hours a week, and they'd be able to afford mortgage, afford a family, afford clothes, groceries, all that. Now, you can get a degree, not get any job related to your degree, even if it's a good degree. With inflation, you can get a job that's twice minimum wage and still be struggling, especially with this housing market and these groceries. F all that. Like it's tough. It's tough out here, and we don't need you to remind us how tough it is. And then to have someone in the back of your ear constantly saying, "Babe, what about this? Babe, why don't you get this new job? Babe, when you're going to buy this? When are you going to do this? Why can't we do this? Blah, blah, blah." And it is so frustrating to do your hardest to make it to another level, and the first thing out someone's mouth is, "All right, what about the next level?" Like, I can't take time to appreciate the fact that I just leveled up before you talking about me having to level up again. And things like that is just, and it's sad because that's what we're wired to. Men are wired to be attracted to women who look good, who look good. I mean, that's why Instagram models can make so much money by doing nothing but just looking good. Women go after the men who can provide and protect. One is born with what the other wants, and one has to make it. You could be born with your looks. You could start off with nothing, be born, take a picture, make money. Men have done that, but it is rare, and it is so much easier for a woman to do it. And if you don't think so, you are ignorant. I'm just going to say that. You're ignorant, Because look at the market. Look at the market for things like, porn, OnlyFans, everything. The face of it are women. There are men that do it, but who makes the most money? Who is always the one talked about? If I were to start an OnlyFans and a woman, I don't know how we would do this, some kind of research, whatever, but a woman who I guess could be considered of equal attraction as regards to me, like I'm equally as attracted to other women as this woman is to other men. And if I were to start an OnlyFans and she were to start an OnlyFans, I will bet my life savings, my future first child's soul, and every dollar I make from now until the end of time, I bet all of that she will make more money than me, that she will have more of a following and everything. And if you don't believe that, also ignorant. It's just how it is. We have to build our worth. Women are born with it. And when we have to put in so much work to create what has been deemed worthy of for a man, and when we put in so much effort just for a woman to be in our ear talking about how much of a failure we are, how lacking we are, how much better we could be doing, that can drive a man insane. And it has, because it drove me insane. I went through that, and it's the worst thing in the world. It's just horrible. I mean, I could go about that on about that all day. One thing for women to understand about men are very simple creatures. We can be happy and have fun doing the simplest of things, and allow men to do that, please. Because most men are big kids. They say that the only difference between men and boys is how expensive and extravagant our toys get. As a kid, I used to play with toy cars, and now I want the actual cars. And when I was a kid, I used to play with little, Nerf and squirt guns, and now I got airsoft guns and like to play with real guns from time to time, and it's fun. And a lot of women call it childish, especially when it comes to stuff like video games. Video games are a very big stress relief. I feel like for everybody. Of course, men is probably the more popular demographic when it comes to video games, but there's too many women I've met that I've called men that play video games childish, and that is very judgmental, and I would stay away from you, because unless I'm wasting my way on the game, unless I'm neglecting my responsibilities and neglecting you by playing my game, then why not let the man have his fun? Why not let the man have his childish hobbies and purchases? Because here's my thing. Women could, it may seem sophisticated to y'all, but y'all will spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on something that a shopping bag could do. Carry your stuff. Purses. All these extravagant purchases. But if we buy a video game that actually helps relieve stress, I've never seen a purse relieve stress. If anything, it adds more stress. You got such a big purse, you can't find the thing you're looking for. You put it in there and it got lost like it's a purse that leads to Narnia. I've never seen a purse relieve stress, but I've seen video games relieve stress. But you called us childish. Anyway, worldly peace. Let your man be at home in his home. There's a reason why the man cave exists. And I like this saying, a man cave is a man cave, and a woman cave is the house. Because 9 times out of 10, it is usually the woman that's doing the decorating, doing the, getting everything together, especially if it's a couple that are going in on a home together. If a couple is going in on a home together, almost always it's the woman making most of the decisions with how the home looks, with how it's decorated, with how it's furnished, all that. And most of the time, even if a guy has his own home and he decides to move a girl in, starts to take over space. Starts to take over some decorations. Oh, I thought this would be cute. Oh, I thought this would look better than the Jordan poster that you had on your wall. I'm just saying. No. Let a man be in his own space. And if you're the type to completely take over, the decorum of a house, that's fine. You better let me have my man cave. I had a straight argument with my ex because we talked about like what we would do, like how we would make our house look or whatever. And I was like, this is going to be my man cave and this is how I set this up. And she was like, well, this is how my woman cave was going to be. And I was like, hold on. A woman cave? What the hell do you need a woman cave for? And she was like, well, you have a man cave. And I said, yeah, and you have the house. The house is yours. All the decorations. Here's my thing. We can talk about a decision, and if she makes a decision without my say so, and it happens, I just got to eat it. And she'd be like, oh, well, wifey says so. Like, that's hers. But if I were to make a decision without her, boy, it'd be World War III. Like, you'd be like, what the hell were you thinking? Those don't look good with this. This doesn't look good with what we envisioned for this. Well, that's just how it is. Please let men have their own space, be in their own space. Let men do men in their own space. Please don't judge them for it. Please don't ridicule them for it. And even unless you guys have already established that you really, really don't feel this way and your man actually believes you, don't even make snarky comments about stuff, because even if you think it's a joke, if you start to make enough of those smart and snarky remarks about things that he's doing, things that he likes to do, and just his hobbies in general, he will start to distance himself from you and keep himself from telling you about these things. Because, mind you, when a man comes to you about his hobbies and talks to you about things he's passionate about, best believe that he's very comfortable with you and he wants you to be happy with him. So if you make any jokes, any snarky comments about him and what he's got going on, I guarantee you will start to build a wedge between you two, and you don't want to do that. Last thing I want to say is stressing about the future. There's a difference between grilling your man and advising. It goes back to what I said earlier. Watch how you talk to your man. Have worries about the future. Have questions. I would never tell my woman, you don't get to ask questions. You don't get to wonder where we're going. You don't get to have this say so. But my thing is, we have our own ways of dealing with things. We have our own process. And that's what I mean by letting us lead the household, because we have ideas, we have these things, and we're going to do them, and we're going to do our best to make sure that these things provide fruit for not only me, but my family. Advise me, do not instruct me, because that will also build a wedge. And it's so important to just learn how to talk to your man. Learn how to assess the situation and let him know what your concerns are, and let him know that you're his support. Because women, you are the man's support system. He's supposed to build that foundation. You're supposed to support the foundation and build the support on top of the foundation. And both of you guys create a roof to complete your home. Not a house, your home. It is a 50-50 exchange. But if he builds that foundation and the only thing you do is harp and nag, you're not building a foundation. You're taking a jackhammer that nagging. You're breaking his foundation, and it's going to cause so many issues. But I mean, that's basically the gist of it. If there's any questions that you guys have, anything you want me to elaborate, maybe in some kind of small detail, or maybe in a future podcast, please comment below. Let me know what you think about some of the things that I said. Let me know if you have any ideas for future podcasts. But once again, thank you. Thank you for everyone that stuck with my live, even just took a chance to look at it and like it or whatnot. Thank you for coming back to Perks Pop Podcast and giving this a good listen / watch too. But yeah, that's really all I have for tonight. Please make sure you like and subscribe, because it is free. It's literally 2 clicks of a button. But anyway, my name's Jelani Perkins. Signing off.